Okay. Right then. Should we get going? Should we start? Oh, it's really good. Well, this is kind of based on it. Yeah. Right, so we're going to start lying down. So lying down and make sure you've got space above your head. Heather, you might be a bit close to the wall, I think. So those of you at home online, as we did last week, we will, if we have time, we'll get our mats to the wall at some point when we come to the standing poses, just so you can think about where you want to be. But you're all right. You're all right in the middle of the room for now. So let's begin with the feet flat on the floor, legs bent. And we're going to do some core things and work on lower back stuff, strengthening and building stability. And in Sanskrit, we call this stira. So chin tucking in, head down, arms down by your side. Just connecting with your breath, so noticing the inhale, exhale flow. And then start to tilt your pelvis with your breath. So as you breathe in, you're pulling up on the pelvic floor, drawing your lower abdominal muscles in and pressing the small of your back down into the mat. And then as you exhale, it goes the other way, push your tailbone down, lower back arches. So your inhale is drawing you up and in, feel like you're squeezing a toothpaste tube inside of you. And then exhale, press the tailbone down, lower back arches. You could pop your hands into your waist, onto your hips, onto your waist, so that you can feel that tilting action. So tilting on the inhale up, and then exhale, pushing the tailbone down. The temptation may be to come up into bridge pose a little higher, lifting the bottom of the ground, but I'd like you to keep it down just for now. We'll come up into bridge pose later. Breathing in, tilting. Breathing out, push the tailbone down. Good. So do one more. And then come just into what feels natural, normal for you. Walk your feet so they are just a tiny bit wider than hip width apart. So if you were to lift your head and peep either side of your hips, you can just about see the outside edges of your feet. And now you're going to keep your left knee and thigh in place and let your right leg come over and drop onto it. So it just tips over to one side. So left leg doesn't move at all. So I'll show you again and I'll turn to the screen, show you guys. So your left leg stays in place and you're just dropping your right leg over to touch the left. That's it. And you hold there, let's hold in place. And so that just widens and stretches slightly through the back of the SI joints. You come back up with the right leg. So that right leg is a little bit wider than the right hip. And now your left knee drops over onto your right inner part of the leg and you just hold it there. And just settle into that sensation, settle into that stretch through the outer hip. And slowly come back up to the center. Okay, so from here, extend your right leg out, point the toe, draw your left knee in towards you. Keep your head down, relax your shoulders. And we're creating all these different shapes and just focusing more on the experience side of things rather than just kind of really thinking about the physical, which we will do, but more about the kind of the feelings and the sensations that arise in the pose. So where can you feel a sense of holding? Where can you, instead of holding and tightening, where can you release and let go? And these sensations you get on these poses that we just hold. So you're trying to let your head feel heavy and drop down into these supports beneath you, whether you're using a cushion or whether you've just got the mat there. You're relaxing your shoulders and let your right leg feel really heavy. And softening the facial muscles, maybe closing your eyes. And then maybe squeezing the knee in a little closer towards the chest. Letting go of any holding, squeezing. You can stay here, or you could bring your knee out to the side and come into half a happy baby pose. So the knee goes out and you get hold of your foot and then you lift your toes up and away, pressing your knee down towards the mat. And if you find it uncomfortable having the right leg out straight in this position, you could just bend the leg foot flat on the floor instead. So straight or bent with the right leg and the left knee is dropping down. If you find it uncomfortable lifting the foot, you could just have the knee still out to the side, but just hold your shin instead. So you're like so. That's it. Okay, then bring this right foot all the way over onto the outside of your left leg. Your left arm, oh sorry, I've got my right and left's the wrong way around. Take your left foot on the outside of the right leg. That's it. Left shoulder down, right hand on the knee. And then you're using the hands to guide the leg over. So this is really lovely for stretching out SI joints and into the hip, across the thigh. Two options. I like to just ease into this to start with this little bouncing exercise we do. So you go over a little way and use your hands to just push and then release, push, release, push, release. So just bounce, bounce, bounce your way into the pose. And as well as feeding the stretch through the top of the leg and the SI joint, can you feel the rolling action on the right hip, the underside, where you're touching the mat? So that's option one, to do that little bounce, 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 or you could go all the way over if you want to push and press so that the knee drops all the way over to the ground, making sure the left shoulder stays down. That's it. And then come all the way up, and we'll do those same stretches on the other side. So you're rolling back, and your hips might have shifted over to the side. So bring both knees into your chest first to squeeze in. That's it. And then keep a hold of the right leg and extend your left leg. Squeeze in. Head heavy, relax the shoulders. And again, we're just using that sense of releasing and letting go. Where are you holding? Where can you soften? Just being still. Squeeze in. And either staying here or come into happy baby on this side. So your right knee goes out to the side and you lift up your right foot, hand holds the toes, or you could use a belt if you can't reach, and you're dropping your knee down towards the ground, toes pulling back behind you, or you have the left foot flat on the floor. So the left leg is bent whilst the right knee drops down behind you. That's it, good. And now coming into the twist. So you bring this right foot all the way over onto the outside of the left leg, left hand onto your right knee, and use the hands to guide the leg over, either doing that bouncing, feeling both the stretch at the top of the leg and that rolling action on the underside, and how that has a massaging effect on the hip, or you press and go all the way over and hold. Just do the one that feels right for you today. And then roll yourself all the way back up. And once more, both knees in towards your chest. Squeeze in, good. Okay, so we're coming into a pose called Viparita Karani. So you, with your hands, you tuck them underneath your hips. 1, 2, so you roll from side to side, one hand on top of the other. So tuck in, and then extend your legs up. That's it. So your hips are slightly elevated because they're just resting on the hands. Head down, chin tucks in, relax your shoulders, and just let your legs, even though they're up in the air, then you're not pushing and stretching. You're just keeping the legs kind of soft. So there's a little bend in the knees. Softening through the toes. That's it. Now wiggle your toes and point and flex at the ankles. And then roll your feet around, rolling the ankle joints, feel them creaking, clicking. Roll the other way. And then do some little lifts of the shins and extending. So dropping the heels down, lift, heels down, lift, just assisting the pumping action that's needed to help drain the lymph fluid down. Okay, then come up again and hold. Just a few breaths here with the legs up, keep them up. And then bring your knees in, slide your hands out and squeeze in. From the squeezed in position, head curls right up, squeeze tight, and then extend and come into a full body stretch, maybe just sliding one leg out, then the other, or both at the same time if you can. And you extend up, make sure you're stretching into lots of space around you. Breathing out, draw your right leg in, float your arms down, bring your head up to your knees, squeeze. Breathing in, float your arms up and lengthen. Exhale, bring the left. Squeeze in. Inhale, float open. Exhale, opposite knee comes in. So if you find it tiring on the neck or uncomfortable on your neck to draw the head up, then keep it on the ground. Another option for your shoulders could just be to have your thumb and your index finger hooked into the elbows on that lift. So you pull up through elbows, hands holes, and then release them, knee in. Pull up through the elbows, extend, exhale, knee in. Or all the way open, inhale, exhale, opposite knee comes in. Here's one more round to finish on the left side. Come back into your full body stretch. And we'll go over with the shoulders to the right, just wiggle them over, and then walk your heels over to the right. And let yourself get as flat as you can in this crescent moon shape. So you're sinking the left shoulder down, left heel down, good. And if you want to go deeper into the pose, you're using your left ankle crosses over your right, and your right hand holds your left. And deepen the stretch through your left side. And then come back to the center, wiggle back. Walk your heels to the left, shoulders to the left, and then you're crossing the right ankle over the left and using your left hand to pull on the right wrist to deepen through your right side, but only if that feels okay. And then come all the way back to the center. Draw your arms down. And then we're going to roll over onto our sides. It's a new one for you, I think, Rachel. So what you're trying to do is trying to get right over onto your side, aiming to be as flat as you can. And do you remember this one? We're lifting a little way and then all the way. And if you're rolling over like me, you need a bit more balance. So you just bend your bottom leg so that you've got a zigzag in the leg, and that should hold you firm. You could also rest your head in your hands like so. Okay, so you're breathing in and lifting up an arm and a leg, coming up to sort of a halfway point. Exhale, lower down. Breathing in, lift up as high as you can with your leg without rolling over. The arm obviously couldn't come all the way down easily, but you just fingers up towards your ceiling. That's it. And then exhale, lower down. We'll just do those 2 sets 4 more times, so 5 in total. So breathing in, halfway, just a little lift. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, come all the way. That's it. Exhale down. A little way. All the way. That's it. Keep going. Making sure with the leg that you're lifting, that your toes are facing forward, so you're not rolling your hip open. So the last one. Good. When you've done number 5, Then you just roll yourself over for the other side. I'll swing around so I can still see you all. So this is amazing for bringing strength and stability to the outer hip and into the waist. So palms are together to start with. Rachel, the hand all the way over. That's it. And maybe you're bending that bottom leg. So halfway. And all the way. Halfway. All the way. Don't rush through it, just take your time. Another 3. Lovely. When you've done your set of 5, then rest. And you can use the top hand just to rub on the outer hip, just to ease the muscles. Okay, so roll over onto your front. Can you see me okay? Is that that side, the clanking side? Oof. So can you, are you all right to see me? Can you see my legs? And you're all right, Rachel, I think, aren't you? So you are on your front. So Sacro Iliac stabilizer. So you're squeezing and you tuck your toes under and then have your legs, so there's no gap. So I've got my knees touching and pushing through my heels, knees come off the ground, forehead down, roll your shoulders back, pull up on your pelvic floor, squeeze your abdominal muscles up towards the spine and push through your heels and really squeeze your legs together. So, Heather, tuck your toes under. That's it. Now push through your heels and knees up. That's it. Squeeze your legs together, no gap between your legs. And then release and let go. And just drop your heels out and wiggle your hips from side to side. Again, the hands can be really useful to make little fists and just pummel into the outside of your bottom. There's a muscle in there which is right over the SI joint called piriformis, and sometimes that can be what's giving you the discomfort. Okay, so hands back underneath your head, forehead down. So before you come into this, just so if you tuck your toes under, squeeze, bring your ankles together, and before you kind of squeeze and press, think about squeezing both sides together at the same time. So I know that my right side is my dominant side. It's much stronger. So as I squeeze and come into the pose, I'm going to try and encourage my left side to squeeze more, and then the right side catches up with the left. That's for me. So get into the pose by pushing and squeezing. Push through those heels, pelvic floor, abs engaged. And notice if one side feels a little weaker. And then fire up again with that stronger sensation of pushing through the weaker side. Press away, and then relax and let go. And you can just drop your heels out, toes together. You could bend your legs and flop your feet from side to side or swing them around in a circle. Good. Third and last time with this pose. Okay, so remember, we're firing at the weaker side first if you are aware of that. So push back through the heels, squeeze the legs tight, abs engage, roll the shoulders back, this time lifting your head. So you push through your hands, forearms, elbows stay down, pressing through the heels, squeeze the legs tight together. Look down at your hands, extend the crown of your head forwards. And release and relax. Hands underneath your shoulders. Push yourself up onto all fours. Knees underneath your hips, hands under the shoulders. Again, abs engaged. And then you're just going to nudge your hips back a little way. Lean into the hands, crown of the head comes forwards a little way. So you're nudging backwards. And nudging forwards with the head, trying to keep your back flat. So Rachel, if you just that's it. Nudge back, nudge forwards. So your core is engaged as you're rocking backwards, rocking forwards. Maybe go a little further back as your back gets used to this, so you take more of a stretch into the mid and lower back. Maybe come all the way back, or you could just stay up high, small movements. Last one. Okay, so make sure you've got some space out behind you. Not going to kick into the wall, those of you at home. And we're going to come into cat pose. So inhale, hollowing. Exhale, rounding. Sometimes it's called cat cow. That would be your cat, head down, arched. And cow on the inhale. Or rounding and hollowing cat. If your wrists get tired, you could just come onto your fist, thumbs forwards, knuckles down. Okay, last one. So pick up the right leg and extend out through the left arm. Breathing in, lengthen. Breathing out, squeeze in. Stay with the same leg and arm. Lengthen, inhale. Exhale, squeeze, curl up. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, squeeze in. If you struggle with coordination or balance, then just do the leg, just the right leg. Good. One more. Switch sides, straight into it. Left leg, right arm. Lengthen, inhale. Exhale, squeeze in. Lengthen, inhale. Exhale, curl up and in. 6 more. Or just the leg we're struggling with, balance. And when you've finished, sort of 8, then come back onto your knees and just Wiggle your hips from side to side. So you shorten your waist through one side, then the other. Good. Okay, come all the way back into swan. So you're sending your hips all the way back and your fingers go all the way forwards. Big length from the hips all the way to the fingertips. Go back as far as you can. Doesn't matter if your bottom doesn't reach back to your heels. Sink it back as far as you can. If you find that uncomfortable on the shoulders, just extend your arms so they're a little bit wider. That's it. And then come into child pose, just allowing yourself to rest. Right, relax the shoulders, and the back has got all that gorgeous length. Your head is down. Maybe you plant your hands underneath there so your head can just rest. Or hands could be down, or you could bring your fingers back towards your toes. So we're just resting, let the experience of the poses just wash over you, just noticing how the wrists feel, how the hips feel, how the back feels. Allowing everything to rest and be still for a moment. So we're going to come up to standing, and I don't mind how you do it. You just come up, or you could come up with using a chair or whichever position suits you, or you can have a go with me, having the knees and the feet wide, toes tuck under, and you come up through a squat. So you're walking your hands back to your knees, and then rolling over your feet, sinking your hips down, and then slowly lift the hips and come all the way up to standing. Okay, I'll show you that again as if you're at home. From here, walk the hands back and then drop the hips down. Maybe heels come down, and then slowly hips up, push through the feet, come up to standing. Just move this, you can see. Right, so let's position ourselves against the wall. So mat right up against the wall, avoiding or door, and they started using doors at home. Oh, this won't die. All right. So you're going to be, sorry. As we did last week, placing a heel, doesn't matter which one, on the skirting board. Perfect. I think you'd be, do you want one a block, Nikki? Yeah. Yeah. You might use one of your blocks. Yeah. So if you find it uncomfortable pushing into a skirting board, you could use a block and just push that against it. And then with the foot that's touching the skirting board, you bring your toes in slightly, the leg that's outermost, nice wide step out to the side, that's it. And then turn your foot, and that rotates your whole hip open, which then will bring your shoulders and chest to face that outside leg. And I'd like you to then, hands on your hips, keep your foot in place, and then turn your hips to face the long edge of your mat. Good. Okay, push into the wall or your block, fingers down. Take a big breath in, reach your arms up, lengthen. And now you're going over the leg, so away from the wall. So over, over, over. Maybe your hand just drops down a little way. Maybe you can reach further. Maybe you can stretch the top arm over. What you're avoiding is sticking your bottom out and dropping the shoulder down. So you feel the stretch all the way through your side. Lovely. So keep pushing the leg that's touching the skirting board, push it in firmly so you can feel the power and strength of the supporting leg. And this enables us, as you push in, to get loads of length through the spine. Okay, let's do the other side. So come on up and switch over. I'm sorry about my back to the camera. So you've got your other foot pushing into the skirting board or block, and your foot that's away from the wall, you turn the toes out. Then bring your hips back to face the long edge of your mat. Fingers towards the wall, towards the floor, and then reach your fingers up towards the ceiling. Lift, push into the skirting board or block if you're using that, and then start to tip over. Keep pushing, pushing, pushing. Tip over, tip over, tip over. Don't let your hips stick out. So you get the maximum stretch through the side, through this, as long as you don't pop the bottom out. If you haven't drawn the arm all the way over the head, have a go with that and see how it feels for your shoulder and feel the difference it makes with your sensation through your side. Now inhale, come up, both arms up, reach, exhale, float them down. Okay, so turn around again, facing the other way. This time we're stretching to the wall. So you need to come away from the wall a little bit. Toes are pointing in the direction of the wall's face. So for me, it's my right heel towards the middle of the room, left toes towards the skirting board. Square your hips towards the long edge of the mat, tailbone tucks under. So imagine the wall is here on that inside leg. Push into it, fingers down. Reach your arms up and away, lengthen. Tailbone tucks under, core engaged. And now tip. And then you reach towards the wall. So the pose can be done in just a very subtle way. So you just come over a little way. And this top arm, hand can be on the hip. And you're still able then to anchor down through the foot. Can you reach your bottom hand headed towards the wall? And then you push your fingers into the wall. And the more you push into the wall, even if it's just the fingertips, you can get that pressure. Or maybe you go deeper, but you're avoiding dropping. Chest open, heart open. Good. Inhale, come all the way up. Hands down. Switch your legs around so you're facing the other way. So now I have my left heel turning towards the middle of the room and my right toes pointing towards the skirting board. Fingers down towards the floor. Take a big breath in, reach your fingers up, lengthen. And now start to tip. So the bottom hand touches the wall, push into it, press into the leg that's away from the wall and reach over or hand on the hip. Lovely. Inhale, come all the way up, fingers to the ceiling. Exhale, hands come down. Okay, turn yourself around. Again, so not using the wall, so get yourself away from the wall. Legs wide, same pose. Turn your toes to your right. Sorry, brain engaged. Hips square. Hands to your heart. Inhale, open your arms wide. And then slide over your right leg. So right hand drops down. So when we were using the wall and pushing and pressing into it with the hands and the heel, You've got that lovely, strong sensation and length. So find that again. But then this sort of the yogic side of things, rather than just kind of the physical, is thinking about the energy in the pose, about the opening of the heart. So we're going to bring the top hands down. So it's your left hand that drops down to touch the right hand. And you close the chest and look down. And now as you inhale, slide the left hand up the palm, the wrist, the forearm, and then open and throw the arm up, opening the heart. Bring the hand around and down again, palms touch, head drops down. And then inhale, expands and open into this heart opening pose. Lift up, look up. Once more, exhale, hand comes down. Inhale, opening up into Trikonasana, extend the arm. And then gaze down, soften the knee. Inhale, come all the way up, heart open. Lovely. Exhale, hands return to your heart. Toes points to your left. Open your heart, inhale, hands expand, your arms like wings of the heart. Exhale, over to the left. So thinking about the physical elements, so you're very flat, as if you're leaning against a wall with your back, not sticking the bottom out. Feel the stretch through the side of the body, top side. And then bring this right hand down to touch the left. So your chest closes, you look down, hands touch. And then breathing in, expand and open, reach up into Trikonasana. Lovely. Exhale, hand comes down. And then push into those lines of energy and open the heart on your inhale. Last one, exhale down. Inhale, reach up and away. And then gaze down, soften the knee. Inhale, come all the way up, heart open. Exhale, hands return to the heart. Step your feet in. Mountain pose. Arms down by your side. Okay, so remember the one we were doing when we're on the floor and we're pushing the heels away and squeezing in. Same sort of idea here. So unless you find it very uncomfortable on your ankles having the legs together, then you could use a block or a cushion in between the legs and squeeze like so. Otherwise, you're locking in, arms down by your side, roll your shoulders back and close your eyes for a moment and just feel which is your stronger leg. Fire up the weaker side, push, squeeze in, tailbone tucks under. Now open the eyes, chin tucks under, roll the shoulders back and down again, pressing evenly through both feet. So you're really holding and squeezing in. Squeeze the legs together, feel the strength in your thighs. Hold. Draw your arms up, stretching up and away, or you could hold your elbows or fingers wide. Lengthen, lift, tailbone tucks under, squeezing the weaker side. These outer muscles holding, squeezing you in. Good. Exhale, float your arms down. Okay, just soften the legs, maybe shake them out after the effort. So now when we come into tree pose, when you're going to bring a knee out to the side, maybe placing one foot down onto the floor, one on the top of the other foot. But the leg that's standing, this outside hip, you squeeze it into the midline, just as we did here, just as we did on the floor, all those kind of same muscles in action. So let's lift up a leg, open the knee, lift at the toes, maybe a little tree pose, or maybe you come up higher. And if I've got a wall right behind me, right next to me, so just hold on, get your position, good. And then squeeze in. So the leg that's standing, don't let your hip pop out to the side, push it in. Good. Okay, release. Shake out the leg. Other side. So outer hip squeezing in. Use a wall to support you. Other leg comes out. Choose your preferred position on this side. Steady. Outer hip squeezing in. Rooting down firmly through the standing leg. Maybe lifting an arm. You could always just slide your hands up the wall if you still want some support. And then release, come all the way down. And just ease out the standing leg. Okay, so one more balance. I'll do it side onto the camera so you can see. So one foot lifting and you just place it above the knee, hands to your heart. And you're pressing the knee that you're lifting, pushing it back behind you. Okay, and you can please use a wall. You might be able to lower your hips back down, but don't let this knee pop up. Keep it pressing back, that's it. Go down, down, like sitting on a little chair behind you. And coming all the way up. Change sides, just ease out the ankle of that standing leg before you lift it and place it on the other foot, or the knee rather, sorry. So lift up, ankle just above the knee, press the knee of the lifted leg, press it back behind you. Hands to the heart. You can stay upright. If you're staying upright, you're just pressing the knee back, focusing on that stretch on the outer hip and your balance. If you have balance and you want to go further, you start to sink down, sit low, sit low, sit low. Well done. Now all the way up. And just ease out the leg, especially the ankle of the leg you've just been balancing on. It's nice to walk on the spot. And as you walk on the spot, just pressing your heels up and the front of the ankles forwards. Okay, let's bring ourselves down to the ground. Maybe put your socks on, get an extra layer on so that you can come down and then stay down. So make sure you've got the space to the side. This wall in the way. So you can drop your knees from side to side. And then you're lying down, arms down by your side for bridge pose. So as you began at the beginning, tilting the pelvis, core engaged, and slowly peel the spine up off the mat. And then exhale, slowly lower back down again. Tilting the pelvis, abs engaged, pulling up, lifting up. And exhale, lower back down again. 6 more. When you finish your set of 8, change your arm position. So your arms come out to the side, 45-degree angle, palms facing up. And then just drop your knees from side to side. Have your feet hip width apart or maybe wider. Exhale, knees over to the left. Inhale, knees back to center. Exhale, steadily dropping the knees over to the right. Inhale, draw back to center. Rolling from side to side. Finish over on the right side. And then knees to center and tuck your knees back into your chest and just be still, just hold here. So you squeeze in and hold and hold and hold. Enjoy that. Stretch through the lower back and your glutes and the waking up of your hip flexors. Just hold still. And then from here, we unfold, ready for some rest. So you can either have your feet on the floor, just let your knees drop together, arms out to the side, or you could go completely flat, throw a blanket over, or you could pop your calves on a chair. Does anybody in the room want me to put a chair underneath them? Legs, no? Okay, so allowing yourself to rest just for a few minutes, just some stillness to kind of allow the sensations of the practice of the postures to wash over you. So although we've been, sometimes it can be very focused on the physical, on the stabilizing and strength postures, but also trying to think about the comforts and ease, especially now as you can relax into the floor beneath you, the supports beneath you. So just allow yourself just to settle down and be still, even if it's just for a few minutes. Allow the mind to settle on the sensation of breathing. Maybe you can hear your breath, even if it's really quiet. Breath in, breath out. Maybe you can feel your breath. Can you feel your breath as it brushes over the lips and rushes into the nostrils on its way in and out? And can you feel the sensations of your body moving because you're breathing? Obviously, the chest inflates, deflates, so you can feel the breath, the chest lifting and lowering with your breath. But maybe you can feel that movement going further. Maybe you can feel the effects of your breathing under the arms, down the leg, into the hips, down the legs. As each inhale has this sense of expansion and opening, and each exhale has this sense of settling and letting go. And now let your breathing start to be a bit more stronger, deeper, automatic breath. So you are taking big breaths in, big breaths out. If you're at home and you want to stay for longer, please stay for as long as you're able. Rest a little longer if you can. Those of you in the room, to start to think about coming up to sitting when you're ready. So maybe the deeper breath encourages you to yawn or sigh. And come up to sitting when you're ready. And bring your hands to your heart. Sit however is comfortable. And take a breath in, sweep your arms up, opening the heart again. Reach up high. Exhale, bring your hands back down to the heart and bow forwards. And rise, inhale. Namaste. Thank you, everybody. Well done. Remember to drink lots of water after your practice and stop this recording.